Listen closely. I'm going to tell you something that most people won't. Something society, the media, your friends, even your family might not want you to hear. Don't date before you're 30. I know what you're thinking. But Andrew, what about love? What about experiences? What about having fun? Relax. I get it. You want companionship. You want validation. You want to feel like you belong. But here's the truth. If you pursue women before you're 30, before you've built yourself into a man of value, you're setting yourself up for failure, heartbreak, and wasted time. Let's start with some facts. Studies consistently show that people who focus on building their career, their finances, and their physical and mental health in their 20s are far more likely to have stable, fulfilling relationships later. When men delay serious dating until they've established themselves, they bring confidence, stability, and experience into a relationship. Women, whether consciously or subconsciously, notice this. They are naturally attracted to men who have direction, purpose, and power. A man without these things in his 20s is not attractive to the kind of woman worth having. You might think you can learn together or grow together in a relationship now. That's a lie. Relationships amplify your flaws. If you enter a serious relationship before you're a complete man, you're not growing, you're stagnating, you're giving someone else power over your life. That's not a partnership, that's a leash. Let's talk about the mind. Your 20s are the prime years for mental and emotional development. This is when you're discovering who you are, what you value, and what kind of man you want to be. If you spend this decade chasing women, swiping on apps, and putting emotional energy into someone else's validation, you're cutting short your own growth. You're outsourcing your confidence, your happiness, your worth. That's not how a top-tier man operates. You must learn to be self-sufficient, you must learn to be disciplined, you must learn to dominate your life before inviting someone else into it. Women want a man who is a complete force of nature, not a half-finished version of himself, hoping she will make him whole. Financial security is another factor most people ignore. Research repeatedly shows that financial stability is a huge predictor of long-term relationship success. If you're dating in your 20s, chances are you're still figuring out your career, experimenting with businesses, learning how to invest, and maybe even struggling with debt. This is not the time to take on the responsibility of a relationship. A woman doesn't want a man who is broke, uncertain, or dependent. She wants a man who can provide, protect, and lead. And I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about value, your worth in the world, the kind of man who can move mountains with his ambition. You cannot offer that if you're still figuring out your own foundation. Now let's hit the hard truth. Most women are dating the wrong men, and most men are dating the wrong women. When you enter relationships too early, you settle, you compromise, you accept less than you deserve because your ego and your need for companionship are louder than your vision for your life. You might tell yourself, I'll find someone who grows with me. Let me tell you, that rarely happens. Growth requires solitude, self-reflection, and relentless focus on becoming a superior man. Relationships are not incubators for growth. They are accelerators of distraction. If you're not solid, you will break under the pressure. And women, especially high-value women, sense instability immediately. They will drain you. They will slow you down. They will be a liability if you are not yet a force of nature. Physical health and appearance also play a massive role. Your 20s are when your body is strongest, when your metabolism is prime, and when habits can be formed that last a lifetime. You need to master your physique, your fitness, and your presence in the world. Women are instinctively drawn to strength, vitality, and dominance. If you waste these years chasing women, partying, and squandering energy, you will enter your 30s weaker than you could have been. And strength is more than muscles. It's posture, confidence, aura, and dominance. The man who masters his body commands respect without saying a word. The man who doesn't is invisible. Do you want to be the man women are drawn to, or the man who waits, hoping she notices him? The choice is yours. Build your body first. Build your life first. The rest comes later. Let me break down what dating before 30 usually looks like. Most young men think they are free because they have options. They hop from one girl to another, believing experience is what matters. But what happens? They develop habits of distraction, poor decision-making, and dependency on external validation. Their time is wasted on drama, emotional roller coasters, and fleeting pleasure, and they wonder why they don't have the life they dreamed of. Women in their 20s are often not looking for commitment. They are looking for attention, comfort, and excitement. They can't provide the stability or partnership you need if you're building a legacy. Dating before 30 is essentially a crash course in disappointment and wasted energy. Now consider the alternative. You focus on yourself in your 20s, you dominate your career, you build wealth, you master your mind, you train your body, you surround yourself with other high-value men, you travel, experience the world, and cultivate a life of adventure and power. By the time you hit 30, you are not just a man, you are a force. You are someone women want to be with because you are irresistible, unshakable, and unstoppable. You date from a position of power, not need. Every choice you make is deliberate. Every woman you allow into your life adds value, not chaos. You are no longer chasing, you are attracting. That is the difference between a weak man and a top-tier man. That is the difference between heartbreak and fulfillment. That is the difference between a wasted life and a legendary one. Let me give you some numbers to back this up. Research from multiple sociological studies shows that men who delay serious romantic relationships until after 30 have higher rates of marital satisfaction, financial stability, and overall life satisfaction. They are more confident, emotionally intelligent, and capable of sustaining long-term relationships. Meanwhile, men who start dating seriously before 30 often face higher rates of breakup, divorce, and emotional turmoil. This isn't just theory, it's fact. Your 20s are the experimental phase, not the settling phase. If you want to dominate life, you cannot outsource your 20s to emotional entanglements. You must invest in yourself first, period. Listen, most men waste their 20s chasing temporary pleasure. They think dating is experience. They think it's fun, freedom, adventure, but it's not freedom if it costs you progress. Every night out, every meaningless text, every hour spent trying to impress a girl who doesn't even respect you. That's time stolen from your empire. Time is your most valuable asset. The man who wastes it chasing women will always be ruled by them. The man who guards it, invests it, multiplies it, that man rules the world. You have two choices: live like a king or live like a clown. The difference isn't intelligence, luck, or talent, it's focus. And women, my friend, will test that focus every single day. They will see if you can stay disciplined when temptation whispers in your ear. If you can resist, you rise. If you fall, you stay ordinary. You must understand that masculinity is built through struggle, solitude, and suffering. The strongest men in history didn't become powerful by sitting on the couch texting girls. They became powerful because they embraced discomfort. They went to war, metaphorically and literally. They built their empires while everyone else was asleep. Your 20s are your battlefield. This is the time to fight for your future, not to waste your energy on love stories that will fade in months. Every setback, every rejection, every challenge is a lesson. Use it, harden yourself, forge yourself into a weapon. Because when you are that man, when your presence demands respect, women will chase you, but you won't even care because you'll be too focused on your mission. That's real power. That's freedom. To not need anyone, but to have everyone want you. And when you finally reach your 30s, when you've conquered your mind, built your wealth, mastered your body, something changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You don't chase validation anymore because your life is already full. You walk into a room and people feel it, that aura, that quiet dominance. Women notice, they sense a man who doesn't need them but chooses them. That's the kind of man women respect. That's the kind of man who can lead a relationship, not be led by it. When you date after 30, you're not guessing who you are. You know, you've tested yourself, you've failed, learned, and built. You don't pick partners out of loneliness. You pick them out of alignment. And that's why relationships formed after 30 are stronger, deeper, and built to last.